Sydnie Christmas's rise after winning Britain's Got Talent is one of the most remarkable success stories to come out of the competition in recent years. But what makes it so inspiring is that her victory was never the result of overnight fame. Long before millions of viewers heard her incredible voice, Sydnie had already spent more than a decade fighting for a career in musical theatre. Born on July 18, 1995, in Gravesend, Kent, she trained professionally at the DNB Academy of Performing Arts, graduating in 2014 with dreams of making it on the West End. Like thousands of talented performers, however, she quickly discovered that hard work and ability did not guarantee success. She landed roles in productions including Lazarus before becoming a lead vocalist on Royal Caribbean cruise ships, performing in large-scale productions such as Grease and Starlight Express. Later she spent nearly 4 years in Germany performing in Starlight Express, gradually working her way into more prominent roles. Despite those achievements, stable success remained frustratingly out of reach. The theater industry is notoriously competitive, and regular work often comes with long gaps between contracts. Eventually, Sydnie found herself taking a 0-hours receptionist job at one rebel gym simply to pay the bills while continuing to chase auditions. What many people didn't realize during her Britain's Got Talent journey was that she had already auditioned for the show 4 different times over several years, but withdrew before performing because overwhelming nerves convinced her she wasn't ready. By 2024, she had reached a crossroads. At 28 years old, she believed this would be her final attempt before walking away from her dream altogether. That decision changed everything. Her audition with Tomorrow from Annie instantly became one of the most talked-about performances in Britain's Got Talent history. Simon Cowell, who had famously grown tired of hearing the song after years of auditions, was visibly stunned by her emotional delivery and powerful vocals. Week after week, Sydnie continued delivering unforgettable performances, including My Way and Over the Rainbow, eventually winning the public vote and taking home the £250,000 prize on June 2, 2024. Yet perhaps the most surprising part of her story happened the very next morning. Despite becoming Britain's newest superstar overnight, Sydnie actually returned to work at the gym because she had forgotten to quit her receptionist job. She remained on the rota until increasing media appearances, recording sessions, and performance commitments eventually made it impossible to continue. That simple story perfectly captured the humility that audiences had fallen in love with throughout the competition. However, victory also brought criticism. Social media quickly filled with accusations that she had too much professional experience to deserve the title. Critics argued that someone with musical theater credits and cruise ship performances could not be considered an underdog. Sydnie responded honestly, explaining that those jobs had never made her financially secure and that she had still needed to work minimum-wage shifts to survive. She admitted the criticism deeply hurt because everything she had shared about her struggles was true. Rather than allowing the negativity to define her, she focused on building a genuine career. Opportunities began arriving almost immediately. Music legend Andrew Lloyd Webber personally invited Sydnie to record Starlight Express, and even arranged for the accompanying music video to be filmed on the actual London production set, creating an emotional full-circle moment after her years performing the show in Germany. The single introduced audiences to Sydnie as more than just a television talent show winner. Only 2 months later, she released her debut album My Way, recording the project in Prague with a full live orchestra rather than relying on modern studio production techniques. The album featured orchestral versions of her Britain's Got Talent performances alongside songs such as Believer, Hall of Fame, Oh Holy Night, and Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas. The record quickly climbed to #1 on iTunes in both the United Kingdom and the United States, an extraordinary achievement for a debut release. One of the album's highlights came when Sydnie collaborated with Lorraine Allred, the powerhouse vocalist behind Never Enough from The Greatest Showman. During Britain's Got Talent, Lorraine had encouraged Sydnie before the final by telling her that Over the Rainbow had become our song. Months later, that message became reality as the two singers recorded a duet together, marking an emotional milestone in Sydnie's career. Her rapid ascent soon attracted attention far beyond Britain. In November 2024, she received one of the biggest invitations imaginable when legendary producer David Foster invited her to perform at his 75th birthday celebration at the Hollywood Bowl. Sharing a lineup with artists including Michael Bublé, Josh Groban, Andrea Bocelli, and Jennifer Hudson represented a level of recognition that few talent show winners ever achieve. Foster clearly saw exceptional potential because only a few months later, during Sydnie's American debut at Sony Hall in New York City, he surprised audiences by walking onto the stage mid-performance to accompany her on piano during Whitney Houston's I Have Nothing, a song he had originally co-written. The spontaneous performance became one of the defining moments of her post-BGT career, symbolizing acceptance from one of the most respected producers in modern music. Another unforgettable milestone came through Britain's Got Talent itself. As part of her prize, Sydnie performed at the Royal Variety Performance before King Charles III in November 2024. Standing on one of Britain's most prestigious stages performing Believer, for the King represented a stunning transformation from someone who had been answering phones at a gym only months earlier. By early 2025, Sydnie had proven that public interest in her extended well beyond television. She announced her first headline concert series, the My Way Tour, covering venues across the United Kingdom. Every performance sold out, with audiences praising not only her extraordinary vocals but also her warmth, humor, and ability to make every concert feel deeply personal. Encouraged by that success, she expanded internationally with 2 sold-out performances at Sony Hall in New York, earning multiple standing ovations from American audiences unfamiliar with her Britain's Got Talent journey. Rather than depending solely on concerts, Sydnie also returned to her first passion, musical theater. During Christmas 2024, she starred as Fairy Christmas in Sleeping Beauty at the Orchard Theatre in Dartford, close to her hometown, choosing community theater over larger commercial opportunities. Then came perhaps her boldest acting challenge. In 2025, she made her West End debut as Cruella de Vil in 101 Dalmatians, the musical at London's Eventim Apollo, the same venue where she had won Britain's Got Talent just over a year earlier. Instead of playing the sweet heroine audiences expected, Sydnie embraced one of Disney's most iconic villains, demonstrating impressive acting ability alongside her powerful singing voice. Critics praised her theatrical presence, comic timing, and commitment to the demanding role, proving she was capable of much more than delivering emotional ballads. Throughout this whirlwind journey, Sydnie consistently remained grounded, frequently thanking fans for transforming her life while insisting she never took her success for granted. She openly acknowledged the countless people who had supported her, from family and friends to the audiences who voted for her throughout Britain's Got Talent. Looking ahead, Sydnie's career shows no signs of slowing. Following her West End performances, she staged a major one-night concert in London that was filmed for broadcast in the United States, while discussions about additional tours, future albums, and international performances continued to grow. Australia has emerged as another important market where her fan base continues expanding, and many believe further West End productions are inevitable. What separates Sydnie Christmas from countless reality television winners is not simply her extraordinary voice but the resilience behind it. Her journey is built upon years of rejection, financial uncertainty, missed opportunities, and repeated disappointment before finally receiving one chance to prove herself. She transformed that single opportunity into a thriving international career through relentless work, humility, and genuine gratitude. From earning minimum wage at a reception desk to performing alongside David Foster at the Hollywood Bowl, singing for King Charles III, recording with legendary artists, topping international music charts, selling out theaters across 2 continents, and becoming a leading lady on the West End, Sydnie Christmas has accomplished more in a single year than many performers achieve in an entire lifetime. Her story stands as powerful proof that persistence, talent, and unwavering belief can eventually overcome even the longest periods of rejection, making her one of Britain's most inspiring entertainment success stories. VidIQ